That airplane just dropped me deep in the Alaskan backcountry on this glacier in the middle of nowhere, and it's not coming back to pick me up for 3 weeks. So for the next 21 days, I have to survive with only what I have in this backpack and that sled. Fortunately, I did pack some surprises that you're gonna wanna see. And to make this even more difficult, let's climb the tallest mountain in Alaska, the tallest mountain in America. Yes, the tallest mountain in North America. I'm talking about Denali, formerly known as Mount McKinley. At 20,310 feet tall, Denali truly is the Great One. The vertical distance from base camp to summit is bigger on Denali than it is on Everest. And many people who have climbed both mountains say that Denali is the greater challenge. There are no porters to help you out on Denali. Instead, you must carry all of your own gear. And you're carrying that gear across dangerous glaciers and up a mountain that has notoriously unpredictable weather. Frostbite, crevasse falls, and even death are common on this mountain. Now you might be asking yourself, Nick, why in the world would you want to do this? Well, to answer that question, I need to go back in time 10 years. This is me just over a decade ago. I was a professional runner competing for Team USA, and every April we would go to Flagstaff, Arizona for a month of altitude training. At 7,000 feet elevation, Flagstaff isn't that high up, but right next to it is Humphreys Peak, the tallest point in Arizona. And at 12,000 feet in elevation, Humphreys Peak is high up. And as I trained each day in Flagstaff, this mountain stared at me, taunting me. I knew I just had to see what the view from the top was like. So one day I scrambled up to the summit of Humphreys Peak. And though climbing this mountain wasn't nearly as hard as some of the track workouts I was doing back in Flagstaff, there was something so incredibly satisfying about standing at the very top of the state of Arizona. I thought to myself, there are 50 states in the USA. I wonder if I can climb to the top of all of them. And thus began a decade-long quest as a state high pointer. Now, some of these states are really easy and you can just drive to the top of them. But some of the states are really hard and they require multi-day backpacking treks. Sometimes I ran through storms to reach the top, and sometimes I climbed in absolutely perfect weather. No matter the high point, each one was incredible and special in its own way. But as I checked state after state off my list, a feeling of dread began to sink in. I knew eventually I'd have to go to Alaska to climb Denali, the highest and deadliest peak in America. Fortunately, I don't have to climb it alone. I've joined an expedition made up of 12 people. There's the husband-wife duo, Adam and Melissa. They're from Virginia. We also have 2 strong climbers from Mexico named Dan and Roberto. There's Michael, he's from Toronto and he speaks Russian. Nico, he's from Seattle and speaks French. Abby is a very accomplished climber from New Jersey. And then there's Eric, my tent mate from South Dakota. The 9 of us are led by 3 guides, Emma, Hayden, and lead guy Steven.
Okay, I took a moment away from camp. We just set up the tents. We're about to start cooking dinner, but I didn't want the crew to hear me say this. I honestly do not think that I can climb this mountain. The highest I've ever been before was, over 19,000 feet on Kilimanjaro, and that's just a hike, and I struggled there. I could barely breathe. I was throwing up, dizzy, just stumbling around to the summit. If I struggled there, how in the world am I gonna climb Denali, one of the hardest mountains in the entire planet? All I can do is just keep putting one foot in front of the other until I can't go on anymore. I did everything I could in training to be ready for this. I got the greatest crew to go up the mountain with. Some things will be out of our control. What I really got to do is just take care of my body as best I can and keep a good attitude. This is 3 weeks. Attitude's gonna be everything.
Incredible flight into Denali National Park. Amazing meal, burgers.
Burger cheers.
Burger cheers.
I feel good. I feel like if we're gonna eat this way, got my -40 sleeping bag, got a view. Check that out. If I just keep doing everything right, we may find success. Next up, I need to get a really good night's sleep. See ya. One thing I want to mention is that during Alaskan summers, it never gets dark. That's right, 24 hours of light, and this really throws off your sleep rhythm, but I'm ready to roll with the punches. It's day 2, and we need to talk about poop, you guys. There are over 1,000 climbers on Denali every season, and they all have bowel movements. And with the average expedition lasting 3 weeks, that's a lot of poop. To help keep the mountain clean, the National Park Service created these little green cans. They're called Clean Mountain Cans, or CMCs for short, and we are required to poop in them. We are required to carry them up the mountain with us, and we are required to carry them down the mountain with us. All poop leaves the mountain in these green cans. Peeing is a little bit easier. It can go right on the glacier, but rather than have everyone peeing all over the place, there are designated pee spots. They do get pretty nasty, and you do not want to fall into a pee crevasse.
Okay, it's now day 3 on the mountain. Enough chit chat. Let's get climbing.
Y'all know right?
Here we go.
Let's go. No masterpiece. 10 bad babs and they after me. One bad bag look like a masterpiece. Looking for a dunk like an athlete. Big drip, what you call it? Big drip. Ice chain, peeled water. Ice. You got the cab, but can't afford them.
So you probably noticed by now we are using copyrighted music. That does mean the video is going to get demonetized, but I think it makes a better viewing experience. And the videos I'm making moving forward, I'm not necessarily trying to make money on them. I just want to really make pieces of art. I want to make something that you guys are just going to love watching. So I've got a lot more great songs planned for this video. It's an incredible soundtrack. Stay tuned. Some of my favorite music.
No masterpiece. 10 bad babs and they after me. One bad bag look like a masterpiece. Looking for a dunk like an athlete.
¿Qué tal?
¿Cómo estás?
Bien.
Qué bueno. Pesado, ¿verdad?
Poco. What up, coach?
Nice work.
Thank you.
On other big mountains like Kilimanjaro or Everest, porters do most of the work setting up camp. Not so on Denali. Remember, you guys, on this mountain, you have to be self-sufficient. It's one of the unique challenges of climbing Denali. Fortunately, I freaking love this kind of work.
Is that warm? Are you pooping on our tent? Not cool. Just like that. Set up. 2 nights here at Camp 1 with a view.
Yesterday's walk-in wasn't too bad, but above Camp 1, the mountain gets steeper. This means that we can't move all of our gear in one go, and instead, we must split our loads up into 2. We carry half our gear up a few thousand feet and then dig a big hole. All of this gear goes into the hole and is buried in something called a cache. We then go back down to camp, rest, and do it all again the next day. This 2-step forward, 1-step back process is long and tedious, but it's the only way to get all the supplies we need up the mountain.
Okay, we just climbed from Camp 1 to Camp 2. We're all set up here. Wow, I look like a dumbass. Anyways, we are at 11,000 feet. And I'm feeling great, but what I want to know is how's my blood doing? You know, what kind of oxygen am I carrying? We acclimated down there for several days. I'm going to run a pulse oximeter check. We're going to find out exactly how I'm feeling now at 11,000 feet.
Of all the gear I'm carrying up the mountain with me, this watch may be the most important. This is the Vertex 2S from Coros, and it is keeping me alive. That is not an exaggeration. The features that this GPS watch contain are essential to a successful climb. Of course, it gives me things you'd expect from a watch like time of day and date, but this incredible little computer also shows me altitude and heart rate. It can create a breadcrumb trail of GPS coordinates to help me if I get lost, and as you can see, it also has a built-in pulse oximeter to tell me just how close I am to passing out from lack of oxygen. The Vertex 2S is known for its incredibly long battery life and an ability to function in the harshest conditions.
But the Vertex 2S isn't the only option. My technology partner Coros has you covered no matter your skill level or preferred price point. You runners out there are gonna love the Pace 3, which I use on my daily training runs. At just 1.5 ounces, the Pace 3 is impossibly lightweight. Then there's the Apex 2, which is a favorite of ultra runners. And did I mention all of these watches can be paired with the incredibly well-designed Coros app? When I get home from my adventures, I can sync the data on my watch with my mobile phone, and I can analyze all that it's collected. But in order to do that, I first have to survive this climb. Let's see what my blood oxygen level came in at. Normal levels would be between 95 and 100%. Anything less than that is going to be concerning. Heck yeah, 97%. That's where I was down below. That's got me feeling really good. It means my body is doing great at this altitude. I'll continue to do these checks as we get higher and higher. I want to know where we're at 14, and I really want to know where I'm at 17. And what I really want to know is if I can get there, and if I'm still thinking straight, I want to do one of these tests on the summit. So fingers crossed we get there. That's a big day. We did another carry up to about 13,500 feet, back to 11 to sleep, and either tomorrow or the next day we'll go back up into Camp 14. But today is a really monumental moment for me because it marks the 7th day of this 3-week trip, which means I get to change my socks and underwear for the first time this trip. 3-week trip means I got 3 pair of socks, 3 pair of underwear, and I finally get to change them, and it feels real good. It's for my OnlyFans account. I don't actually have one of those.
Day 8 marks our first rest day. This is a day where we get to sleep in, load up on calories, and watch the weather. As we climb higher, the weather gets more and more harsh, and we have to look for weather windows to move safely up the mountain. We get radio updates twice a day, and it looks like a storm is about to roll in.
All right, so this is a tough one. We were just about to move up to 14,000 camp. We got absolutely dumped on. About, 18 inches of new snow. But, the toll of everything was enough that the husband and wife combo of Adam and Alyssa, they're gonna turn around. So they're finding a guide with another crew, and they're gonna head back down to base camp. We don't have any guidance on what we're gonna do. And our 3 guides and the 7 climbers remaining, I think we're gonna move to 14 today, but we're gonna go sit in the breakfast tent and make a plan.
It's never easy when someone on your expedition turns around. Up to this point, we have been a team working as one unit to move up the mountain, and now we are short 2 climbers. That said, there are some benefits that I will selfishly point out. 2 less climbers means 2 less mouths to feed. We now have more fuel, more food, and a better guide to climber ratio as we prepare to move to 14,000 feet. Also, I must admit there's something exhilarating about being able to outlast others in this harsh environment. Adam and Melissa are tough climbers, and I wish them a safe journey home, but today, I'm feeling good and I'm ready to move up.
Ah, that's a good one. We got a full-blown city up here. What up, squad? Slap hands. Slap hands. Yeah. What is it? Choca la mano?
Choca la mano.
Choca la mano.
Well, it took us over 7 hours, but we were able to go from 11,000 camp to 14,000 camp. Everybody made it. Grueling day. Let me hit you with the views.
Check this place out.
We're all feeling a little lightheaded, hungry, tired.
We can see the 16,000 ridge. That 17,000 camp right there.
From there, we get our shot at the summit. But right now, before I do anything else, while I'm sitting here lightheaded, I need to check my blood saturation, my O2 levels in my blood. So measuring 14,197. To give you guys an idea of just how high this is, the second highest state high point is Rainier in Mount Washington, and it's 14,400. We're almost that high. So imagine spending the night, multiple nights on the top of Rainier. That's what we're about to do. And we're just about done with the O2 test. Please be good. Anything over 90, I'll be stoked with. Oh gosh, okay. We're showing 76. That's not good. Well, all I can do is just take some deep breaths, drink a lot of water. I do have Diamox if I need it. I'm trying to avoid using Diamox, but if I drink a lot of water, eat a good meal, get a good night's sleep, let's check in the morning. Maybe we can improve on those numbers. It's Monday, June 3rd. Last night was our first night at 14,000 feet, and it was horrible. It was so cold, like cold, maybe the coldest temperatures I've ever slept in.
There comes a point during every high point when you ask yourself, am I actually gonna be able to get to the top of this one? This is my favorite part of every climb. This is the moment when the mountain is no longer the biggest obstacle in my way, but rather my own emotions. Walking uphill is actually pretty easy for me. Controlling my emotions, that's the hard part. 1 day at a time becomes 1 hour at a time. Break it down into bite-sized pieces.
I feel a lot better. Got some coffee, got some breakfast, moved around a little bit. It's now 12 o'clock. We have to go down to 13.5 because remember we left our cache there. But before we do that, I do want to get the updated blood O2 level. Remember we were at 76 yesterday. That was low. I'm hoping that a little over 12 hours later, the numbers are looking better. What a difference a night makes. So now we're up to 94%. It's from 76 to 94%. Body is responding well. I just had to take that ibuprofen to knock my headache down, but I'm feeling good there. Still a lot of work to be done. There's 12 working days on the mountain. Tomorrow is supposed to be one of the toughest days.
One of the things that makes Denali so hard to climb is the weather. You see, Denali has incredible prominence. This means that it stands high above all the terrain around it. And as storms develop off the coast, it's Denali that gets a direct hit right in the face, which of course means we climbers take a direct hit right to the face. Temperatures outside are constantly below zero, and even inside the tent, they're not much better. Low temps and high winds have pinned us at 14,000 feet for nearly a week. All we can do is wake up each day, check the weather board that the ranger station updates, and cross our fingers. And this Groundhog's Day routine is starting to make us go a little bit crazy.
The big debate today at breakfast was, would you give up a little toe if it meant getting the summit? And your response?
No.
No, you wouldn't?
No.
I would. And you would? Yep. I would give up a pinky toe to get this summit. Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
There's 2 minutes to meet. I need all my pinky toes.
You need them for, yeah? Would you give up a pinky toe for Everest? Come on, it's just a pinky toe.
Only a pinky toe? I don't know, it's hard.
I'll give up 2 pinky toes.
I give the nails forever.
Oh, you'd give the nails. You said you'd give a tooth?
I'll give a tooth.
Okay, he'll give a tooth.
I'll give a tooth.
Let me know in the comments below. Would you give up a toe for an Everest summit? Check this out. Almost 95 degrees. We're not always cold out here. Even though it is cold, we are able to stay warm with the gear that we bring and just sitting in these tents that become little greenhouses. So every day we get these beautiful, warm, sunny afternoons, and it really revitalizes you, regenerates you. You feel kind of beat up at the end of each day, but a rest day like this, super important.
I gotta say, if I have to be pinned down in any camp on this mountain, I choose this camp at 14,000 feet. The weather is relatively good and there are lots of people to talk to. Oftentimes they're on their way down the mountain and you can scavenge food from them.
Look at that bag of food!
There are lots of other fun things to do, like walk to the edge of the world or build snow walls around your camp.
Let me paint you a picture.
Plus the views from the bathroom aren't bad.
I want you to show the beautiful view.
On day 16, after spending an entire week at 14,000 feet, we finally get word from Steven that the weather above is starting to look better. It's time to move to 17,000 feet. Get ready, the climbing from here gets really technical.
17? There, see how excited he is?
That's it. That's it.
As we roll into high camp, we are hit with 50-mile-an-hour winds. This makes setting up camp extremely difficult.
Pure chaos up here.
¿Cómo se dice chaos in Spanish? Chaos! Ah, big attack!
It's windy. That was intense. Look at my face. Oh my gosh. That was way calmer on the way up than I thought it would be, and way, way crazier once we got into camp. But we got all the tents set up. We're hanging out. I got tent mate Eric. How you doing, tent mate Eric? We're both beat up right now. It was a long day. Did you like the hike?
Yeah.
Oh, the hike was cool. The views were unbelievable.
Yeah.
But once you get into camp, just pure chaos. Now we're settled in. You won't even believe it because it's so light out. It's 11 o'clock right now. Land of the midnight sun. So 11 o'clock, we're gonna do some dehy meals tonight. Just try to get a couple hours of sleep and then fingers crossed. Before I go to bed, I am going to check my I can't even talk, my blood O2 levels. You know, sometimes these numbers can be deceived. I'm at 17,000 feet now for the first time on this mountain, and the numbers aren't going to be good. But I'm going to share them with you guys, and it is what I'm dying. It is what it is. We're climbing tomorrow. So let me give you the numbers real quick. Hey, look at that. I'm going to make it. Yummy.
All night and all morning, the winds whipped our tent. The temps were lower than anything we'd experienced on the mountain up to this point, and to make matters worse, we could see snow being ripped off the ridge above us by the hurricane-force winds near the summit. There is absolutely no way to climb higher in these kinds of conditions. All you can do is crawl back into your tent and wait it out. Two of our teammates, Michael and Abby, have decided to head back down. And to be honest, I'm thinking about doing the same thing. It's funny, sometimes you have to completely give up before a mountain will let you continue. I have no idea why this is, but it has happened to me on big mountains before.
All right, well, it's day 19 and we're out of fuel, food, patience, time. It is not a good day to go summit, but they said be ready at 11:30, and so we're getting ready right now. Get the boots on, get the crampons on, and just really hope that weather turns around in the next hour or two. Jeez, maybe not. Never thought it would actually happen. Well, it's not a perfect day, but it's the day that we get. We're gonna go up, what do they call it, the Autobahn? Up the Autobahn to the Denali Pass and around the back to the summit. Wish us luck.
As we prepare to leave high camp, I am equal parts excited and terrified. The Autobahn is where most deaths occur on Denali. It is an extremely steep and icy traverse across the mountain, and I promised the guides I would not film during this part of the climb. I'm putting all of my focus and attention into moving safely through this traverse. But 2 hours later, we have all made it through the Autobahn safely, only to find a blizzard waiting for us at Denali Pass. I feel certain that the guides are going to make us turn around, but to my surprise, we press on. And as we do, the weather starts to get better and better. $19,750 feet. About 500 feet to go. We can just see the summit ridge. Look at that. We're gonna get this done, you guys. I can't believe it. 500 feet to go. 100 feet from the summit ridge. It's crazy to be this close to a goal that I've had for 10 years. I want to just take off sprinting, but this is a sprint. It's like 10 breaths for every step. And I'm at a heart rate of 160, and it's not going down. Maybe at the summit ridge, we can collect ourselves, catch our breath. I'll try to get some good shots for you guys. Don't fall. Years of work, and it all comes down to these final steps.
We got this. Kind of emotional here. Sorry. I didn't think I'd feel this way at the top. 10 years. 10 fucking years. I didn't even fucking cry when I made the Olympic team. What the hell? 50 feet to go. Top of the world, at least top of Alaska. Yeah, top of North America. Check this out. 8:41 p.m. 20,300 and what's that saying? We know it's 10, but 360.
In the end, we were able to get 2 guides and 5 climbers to the top of Denali. But what goes up must come back down, and for the next 48 hours, we marched all the way back to base camp. This gave me a lot of time to think, time to reflect on all that I'd accomplished, but also time to set new goals. I was sad that this chapter of my life was over, but excited about what summiting Denali could unlock for me. As I said goodbye to this incredible mountain, I knew that there was only one place on Earth that had an even stronger pull on me: Mount Everest. I'm pleased to announce that I am on a 2025 expedition to the tallest mountain on planet Earth. Training has already begun, and I leave for Nepal on March 31st, 2025. You already know I'll be making a video of that climb. Subscribe to see more, and thank you for watching.